Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Hames, and I'm the Associate Vice President for Digital and Social Strategy here at 3 Enrollment Marketing. It's been a really busy week, and it's only Wednesday for us. We're so excited to talk this week about 3EI Conversion Apply 2025. So we've been going live on LinkedIn every day at 2 o'clock. We have a couple more coming as well. You can see those at 3enrollment.com/events. You can also read way more about 3EI Conversion Apply 2025 at 3enrollment.com/apply. Fancy, isn't it? Today, I'm so proud and I'm just so happy to be joined by my colleague, Jami. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but let me just tell you up front that she's one of the funniest, most empathetic people I know. She keeps me on my toes on our internal teams. And she also makes me think all the time. So I'm so excited to be joined by Jami. Jami, why don't you introduce yourself to the people who are watching?
Sure, Matt. No pressure there. And I am Jami Hornbuckle, Dr. Jami Hornbuckle. I only use the doctor with my family. Nobody else has to use that. I've spent 25 years in higher education, in marketing, advertising, public relations, media relations, focusing on both enrollment and advancement side of the house. Before joining 3E, I've been here about 4.5 years, looking at content strategy, cognitive marketing. Really, for me, it boils down to empathy, and I appreciate that means a lot that you said I'm one of the most empathetic people that you know, because that stands out for me both personally and professionally. I try to bring that to everything that I do. At 3E, I currently serve as the VP of Engineering and Delivery, which means I get to work on a lot of innovative projects. Some of the things we're going to talk about a little bit today with signals, and I won't jump too far ahead and peel back the onion until we get to that point, but a lot's changing. I say it keeps me on my toes on a daily basis and really enjoy that. So it's also a pleasure to work with you, Matt, and great to have the chat with you today.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I used to joke that the internet updates every Thursday. I think it actually updates every day now.
Absolutely.
So things are changing so much. The thing that I focus a lot on, the search engine results page, is changing all the time. And it's just, yeah, it's a wild ride, but it's fun to be on this ride with you.
It's fun. One of the things that you bring up there about it kind of changing every day, that's actually not an exaggeration. And I think, one of the things we're going to talk a little bit about, I hope will be open and clicks, because I talked a little bit about that before we decided to do this today. That's changed a lot, and we'll talk about what that looks like. But
let's talk about that, right?
Yeah,
higher education marketing is changing all the time. We know that, right? So there is a shift though from opens and clicks, as you talked about, to focusing on signals. Signals is a different way of thinking about, obviously, data or whatever, right? So what do you think is making this change towards signals?
Right. So let's talk a little bit about where that was headed. The email systems, operating systems, Gmail, iMail, Apple Mail are changing every day.
Yeah.
We're changing about once every 1.2 days. So when you were saying it changes daily, that's not an exaggeration. That is real.
Yeah.
So the shift is really not about more or better data. It's about better understanding people, which again, I'm going to go back to empathy. It's truly about the people behind things. In the experience economy, students aren't just reacting to information. They're forming impressions. They're weighing life-changing decisions. We all know imagining their future, but open and clicks only capture a really, really small part of that journey, right? And we know privacy changes like Apple Mail, the privacy protection there, it's made those what we know as kind of old now. That's almost unreliable. We've had to take a much deeper look at things, and so we know that over the last couple of years, in particular, with all of these changes in ESPs and things opening images, for an example,
you
can't really rely on what's an open or click. And even if you could, that's a pretty shallow activity. So we need to know about when a student leans in, when they explore, how they engage in a way that truly reflects genuine interest. When we listen for those kind of signals and those cues, and we look with empathy and leverage AI, we're not just tracking engagement anymore. We actually can kind of see into students and see into their journey. And I think that's the real shift that we're starting to make here.
Right. So obviously, we send an email immediately. I've always argued that we really highly focus on the deliverability of emails here at 3E. Like I think I've forgotten more about this, or you've forgotten more about this than I've ever known. So like, I don't even pretend to be an expert in this, but understanding that an email is delivered to somebody, and then it is opened, and then somebody clicks or reads or something. And we're at the point right now in 3EI Conversion Apply 2025 that isn't enough to understand what their intent is. So can you talk a little bit more about understanding their intent and the moment in their journey?
So let's talk a little bit about why that's hard to read. It really, these settings blur the line between engagement or their intent and what, kind of false positives, if you will.
Yeah.
While an email may appear that it's open, even if the student never read it, it means we can't rely on that data anymore. It's really kind of changed the way that we look at all of this information. And this change has actually been healthy for the industry, if you want to think of it that way, because it pushes us toward more authentic engagement.
Yeah.
It's not just looking at, hey, we sent an email, it was delivered, it was in the inbox, and we talk about deliverability versus inbox deliverability. Those are two different terms. Did they open it? We're not sure. Let's talk about signals about, are they on the website and they're repeating that visit to the website? Are they revisiting financial aid pages? Are they asking a chat bot about majors? Did they schedule a campus tour? And let's take a holistic look at all of that and pull that together. Really starting to look at it almost and using the technology in a way to scale being nuanced advisors and nuanced admissions counselors in many ways to be able to look into that student's journey and to be able to start to pick up on those nuances that a open and click just doesn't do. I think that's really surface level stuff when you start talking about clicks. Doesn't reveal if the student's excited. Are they overwhelmed? Did they just open it because they were bored that day?
Yeah.
We really want to start looking at, let's say they go to a chat bot and are like, I'm all in. We need to be able to measure that kind of sentiment and be able to pull that into what we understand as a signal from the student. It's not just I opened something or I responded to something, but that says something entirely different, right? If a student's that excited, how do we start pulling that kind of a signal in, right? And then how do we build our campaigns around that in such a way that it's truly empathetic, right, and understands where the student is in the journey?
So I've been in my career, I've reported data a lot, organic social data, paid social data, website data, .edu data. I've reported a lot of different numbers like clicks or impressions, and don't get me started on organic social impressions. That's just another thing, right? So there, it does sound like there's a very clear distinction between how we're describing signals and how we're describing just like the reporting of data. So how would you, we're well into this conversation, but how would you just like simply define the concept of a signal?
So I would say, to try to boil it down, a signal would be any measurable action or sentiment that shows a student is taking steps, no matter how big or small, toward a decision.
Yeah.
Whether that be forward or backwards, whatever that decision may be, whether they're stepping away from your institution and going somewhere else, or are they committing to your institution and applying or making that next step. It might be academic, as an example. Are they comparing majors? How do we start evaluating where that is in the journey, and the kind of questions they may be asking on a bot, for example.
Yeah.
Is it logistical? They've scheduled a visit. What's the propensity once scheduling a visit combined with searching for a major? So it's, in some ways, you say it's not necessarily about data. It's both the art and the science. It's understanding, it's having that data and being able to measure the action, but then also being able to have that nuance behind it. Being able to take, maybe it is a conversation. Again, I'm kind of using a bot, which we have 3i Recruiter as a great example. If I'm expressing anxiety about not being sure about my decision, being able to score that anxiety, and being able to follow up specifically on information about that. Or if I'm really excited and I know this, I know this is the school for me, being able to score that differently, and being able to follow up differently with that kind of sentiment. It creates an entirely different way of hyper personalizing the information that we share with students.
Okay, so we have a bunch of behaviors that students are doing. They're anxious, they're excited, they're clicking, they're opening, they're reading, they're checking out. We take all of those signals and we obviously put them inside of we store them and we sort them.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what happens, like you've kind of talked on the edges of we look at this and we score this. Like, we have all this data.
Yep.
Big data, if you will, or big signals. How, it's what do we do with those signals, and then how does that help our partner institutions?
So let's right now, our we'll say the 3EI experience platform, or the intelligent experience platform. We're really talking about all these things being intelligent in multiple ways.
Yeah.
That holds right now 3 billion different
3 billion with a B.
With a B. And so we are connecting and using AI to analyze and connect time and maybe this student applies from X high school, and so we automatically send a message to other students in that same high school, because we know that belonging is so important, right?
Yeah, right.
We say, hey, there are students from your high school applying. We're feeding that. That is a kind of signal, right? We see that students are applying, so that could be a feeder school. Program exploration. Are there particular programs that we see that are really hot that students are looking at on the website, or they're chatting about, or they're responding to in text messages or emails? We can start promoting those programs. And really following all those different kinds of signals, whether they be market or relational, or just the sentiment, again, that we talked about earlier. It truly provides that kind of momentum that you could not have otherwise. It's almost like, again, I want to go back to the example that it's like being able to scale a personal recruiter that is available 24/7.
Yeah.
That can read into every communication this student has, and follow them.
Yeah. And responding to those signals makes it actually feel more personal.
Absolutely.
Like, that's where the empathy comes in, right? So we're not just saying, hey, you should do this, you should do this. We're responding to what they're doing and what they're saying. And that's empathy marketing.
Absolutely. And I think that's when we go back to the beginning of all of this, and when we really had the conversations of how we wanted to approach this work. It truly was about bringing the empathy to it, about being able to support the student in the journey. Yes, ultimately, it is going to help institutions. It helps, if you're listening here, it helps your institution recruit and retain students in terms of, because you're getting right fit students.
Right.
You're getting students that truly are committed to you and have been through these conversations that you couldn't have otherwise. You just couldn't have these kind of conversations and follow them through at scale otherwise.
I mean, I am super excited for 3EI Conversion Apply 2025 just because of the massiveness. Massive is not the right word, just the complexity of it, but also the simplicity of just using signals to inform the kinds of decision that the campaign is going to make. I think is going to help all of our 3E partner institutions so much. If you're interested in learning more, you can either connect to Jami or I, or visit 3enrollment.com/apply to find out a little bit more. If you want to see a demo, you can visit us at 3enrollment.com/contact. We'll put all those in the comments below as well. Jami, you've seen, like this week, you've seen the 3EI Conversion Apply 2025, and you've been deeply involved in the launch of this. What are you most excited about with this solution from 3E?
Yeah, so truly, I wasn't joking when I said that I really appreciated that you mentioned how empathetic I am, because that truly, that's important to me, both personally and professionally, and that is what I see evolving, and what we say 3EI, and it's intelligent in so many ways, and I mentioned that, but it's also emotionally intelligent. The 3EI Conversion Apply campaign, 3EI Recruiter, the signals that are coming out, the 3EI market strategy, it truly is about leveraging artificial intelligence in a human way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, we saw a little snippet. We have all hands this week, and we saw a little snippet last night or yesterday of some of the how the sausage is made, if you will. And it was fascinating to watch just how this is being built, and how this can adjust, and how this can how we can take the signals and really learn and respond to people in real time. It's really an exciting time. Like, as a longtime marketer, used to just try to target your advertising in the words and the images you did, not in the behaviors of the people that engaged with your content. So this is truly an awesome and momentous time in marketing.
It is, and it's amazing to be a part of it. And I think believing that higher ed truly can make the world a better place, and to be a part of something that has empathy at the heart. It's both smart. I just say it's smart and art plus heart.
Right.
Like you and I were talking about. That is so crucial. And I believe that it's ultimately can make a difference for the institutions, for students in finding the right place.
Yeah.
And for the community they serve.
I like to think of myself as a creative person, and I know you're a very creative person. So the art part is really important. The smart part is like just looking at the smartness of this is great. And then being able to incorporate heart into this, it's really like 3EI Conversion Apply 2025 is really a groundbreaking new solution for 3E. And I know I'm proud of it, and you should be super proud of it, and the whole team here is proud of it. So as we come to a close here, is there anything else you want to add? One last thing to say about it?
One last thing to say.
Yeah.
If you're not already a client, check out the website, find out more information. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk at 3enrollment.com/contact. If you want to find out more about this, it's 3enrollment.com/apply. I get a little bonus every time you click. No, I'm just kidding. I'm making that up. That's not true. If you want to see some of the other upcoming events that are happening this week, you can see 3enrollment.com/events, and follow Jami on LinkedIn. She's a great connection. She's a great follow to just find out. Obviously, her newsletter is called The Thinking Marketer. She is such a great thinker, such a great colleague. Jami, it was awesome to have you here today. Thanks for joining me. And I hope you have an awesome week. And thanks for all you do at 3E.
Thanks, Matt. Every all hands is a great week.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.